Hello friends, I have received multiple demands from our colleagues in past few days to discuss the issues under PC-PNDT Act where uniformity in implementation is lacking. As we all know, PC-PNDT Act has created havoc amongst our fraternity members. The main reason behind this is not the act itself, but the main reason is because there are so many loopholes in the act itself. There are differences of interpretation of the act by different appropriate authorities. Different appropriate authorities implement the act haphazardly. And last but not least, the divergent judgments given by different courts have created fear amongst our fraternity members. So definitely there is a need to discuss all these things. We all know that PC-PNDT Act is a central act, and central act is to be implemented all over India in a similar way. But in case of PC-PNDT Act, in different states, it is implemented differently by different appropriate authorities. Even in a single state, there is no uniformity amongst the appropriate authorities in different districts. And somewhere, even in a single district, if there are more than one of appropriate authority, they are implementing PC-PNDT Act differently. So this is the reason why there is a havoc in the fraternity. One by one, in the series of this uniform implementation of PC-PNDT Act, we will discuss all the issues where uniformity is lacking and what should be the exact interpretation by the appropriate authority. We will discuss one by one in this series of our web meetings. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello friends. In the series of uniform implementation of PC-PNDT Act, today we will discuss that at how many places a sonologist can register his or her name in one district. Dear friends, on 4th June 2012, there was an amendment in PC-PNDT rule, and section 3 subsection 3 was added, with which it was mentioned that a sonologist can register at 2 places, maximum at 2 places, not more than 2 places in one district as a sonologist. And he has to display the time of his services which he is providing to that particular center, to the appropriate authority, and that time is to be displayed. That kind of provision was added in PC-PNDT rules. But as soon as this provision was added, this was challenged in Bombay High Court and by the Rajiv Vasant Zanskar versus in Rajiv Vasant Zanskar versus Union of India case. And in this case, the High Court gave the stay against this implementation of this rule 3 subsection 3, and court said that it is unreasonable and this should not be implemented, and interim stay is granted in Bombay High Court. The same kind as it was the Bombay High Court judgment, so that means it was only applicable to Maharashtra. So people went into different high courts. Even our Indian Radiological Imaging Association went into Chandigarh High Court. Then one Dr. Srivastava, Ravi Srivastava, went in Allahabad High Court. And another doctor, Dr. R. Divakar, went in Chhattisgarh High Court. All the cases were doctor versus Union of India. So Union of India was the first party in all the cases. Now in all the 5 different high courts, the judgment was there and stay was granted on the same basis. As this is the illogical things, that you cannot stop anybody to work at more than 2 places in one district. It is not logical. So as 5 high courts granted the stay, The Indian Radiological Imaging Association went into Delhi High Court and demanded that this should be implemented all over India, because now everybody will go in every state high court, and every high court will grant the stay. So there will be the duplication of the cases in the similar way. So to avoid this, a circular should be issued all over India to all appropriate authorities, because and if this particular stay should be implemented all over India. The reason is that PC-PNDT is a central act. Here there is done act amendment done by Union of India. In all 5 cases, the first party was Union of India. So that's why the court said that it should be implemented all over India, and there is no need to go state to state in all high courts. And in this case of IRIA versus State of the Union of India, the Delhi High Court said and directed the then Director of Family and Health Welfare Department, Anuradha Vemuri, that please issue a circular to all appropriate authorities all over India in reference to this, and acknowledge them that these 5 high courts have given the interim stay on the implementation of Rules 3 subsection 3, and it should not be implemented. So the same kind of circular was issued by Anuradha Vemuri on 14th October 2012 after this decision, and every appropriate authority was intimated the judgment of these all 5 high courts, and it was said that as Union of India is the party, then it should be implemented in all the states of India. So that means that stay is not till date vacated, and that means the amendment as per Rule 3 subsection 3, where there was a provision of registering at not more than 2 places, it is not in action, and stay is granted against that. Now we receive many calls from many of our doctors' friends that our appropriate authority is not registering at more than 2 places. And even in affidavit, they have put one line that I am not going, or I am not registered myself at more than 2 places. So that kind of affidavit they demand. So this is again unreasonable. Now after the judgment of all 5 high courts, this should not be implemented, and every appropriate authority should be informed by the central government again and again that not to implement this Rule 3 subsection 3, and they should be intimated that you can register a doctor at more than 2 places in one district now on. So hope I am clear. There is a need for the uniform implementation of this particular rule, and there is need to acknowledge all the appropriate authority, because most of the appropriate authorities are doing this and as they are ignorant regarding the judgment of the Supreme Court in 2012. So there is need for uniform implementation, and it should be again uniformly acknowledged to appropriate authorities all over India that this Rule 3 subsection 3 should not be implemented. Thank you. Thank you very much.